This story takes place last year during the winter. I work in a hotel as a chef in the UK, and the hotel is in the middle of nowhere. Therefore, you could get staff accommodation. We also have a lot of people come from abroad for work experience here. Most of the staff living in the accommodation are quite young, which means a lot of parties. One night, me and my friend Adam finished our shift and wanted a nice quiet little drink without partying. We go to my room and talk about today's events, and the conversation goes on to the paranormal and what experiences we've had. Aiden is from Mexico, so he was telling me stories from there. Apparently, he used to be an avid urban explorer. He'd visit abandoned locations and document them. He proceeds to tell me about Randonautica. It's basically an app that asks for your GPS data and sends a location to you using random nearby generated coordinates. I didn't know it at this point, but there had been some true, terrifying stories by people that had used the app. I wouldn't advise it, definitely not at night. A few beers down, Aiden had the app already. We thought it might be fun to go for a walk, see what location we'd get and look what's there. It asked for our purpose, for example, find a scary location or something. Because it was like 2 a.m, we opted for something scary. It gave 3 nearby locations. Not having a car, we chose the closest location. As previously mentioned, we live in the middle of nowhere in a hotel, surrounded by fields and woodlands. Meaning we'd be walking in the pitch black along back roads, with only a torch on our phones. Everything seemed to be amplified when we started to walk. Whistling wind through the trees, hedgerows rustling from animals. We walked down a hill, which was near the hotel. Near the bottom, traffic lights came into view, giving us some light. We were in high spirits. Maybe the beers we drank had made us merry. Even so, as we started to get closer, I was on edge. We went into some fields, and things started getting weird. Some gates were blocking our path as they were padlocked. We climbed over them. The location was further than the gate, through the field and onto the left side. I said to Aiden, "Shall we go back?" We'd come too far though, so we carried on. After climbing over the gate, we carried on through the muddy field. It was so dark. The moon was hidden behind some clouds. It seemed to get even colder. It was almost 3 a.m. now. We shone our torches towards where the app was telling us to go. Suddenly, we spotted an old storage container sitting there in the middle of this field. "Is that it?" I asked. "No," said Aiden. "It's over that direction," pointing to his left. We're still walking towards the storage container for some reason, probably curiosity. We both stopped as our phone lights illuminated the front of this container. Someone had spray painted a sinister-looking clown. I froze. Stumbling upon this during the day would have been scary enough, never mind at 3 in the morning, walking towards the unknown. Aiden laughed nervously. "It's just a clown, mate." I looked at him. "Yeah, bro, just a clown spray painted on a random storage container in a random field." A few seconds later he said, "Let's keep going." My hair on the back of my neck was standing up at this point. Something didn't feel right. Clowns don't scare me, but it was unexpected. Something was off. "It's just over there, man," pointing at a tree line as he spoke. Absolutely not. Not a chance, I thought to myself. Am I walking up to those trees? It was the beginning of a very big forest that ended up at the hotel, almost 2 miles away. "I'm not running through the forest and getting lost, with something out there, waiting," I said in a shaky voice. We agreed not to turn back. We got closer to the forest. We saw a little opening. "That's where it is," he said. I looked and walked quicker towards it. I wanted this to be over already. I stopped dead in my tracks. My blood turned cold. We were on the tree line now. I could see a light through the trees. Something or someone else was there. That light was in the pinpointed location. Turning for a split second to tell Aiden that we might be in danger, that's when we heard branches crunching and twigs breaking. It was getting closer, whatever it was. I know I shouldn't have, but I looked back. A tall black figure was stood in between 2 large oak trees. I didn't get a better look. I couldn't. I just ran, without looking back. Me and Aiden were sprinting now, the fastest we ever have sprinted in our lives. Not even knowing where we were heading to, we ran until we saw the glow of the traffic lights, panting and spluttering. We both slowed down. My throat felt like it was bleeding, as the cold air was hitting my face whilst running. Gasping breaths felt like glass cutting up my throat. We looked around and couldn't see anything. Aiden said, "I think we're good now," still trying to catch his breath. We walked fast up the hill, back towards the hotel. I've never been so happy to see the lights. Let this be a warning, never download Randonautica. If you do, don't use it at night. Later I discovered that people had gone to these locations and found dead bodies. People think it's associated with the dark web. I don't know who or what that thing was. What makes this even scarier? I feel like it was a human and not a paranormal entity waiting for us.